Morning, Rachel Howfield Massey from Other Ways to Walk here. So I'm making a little video for you this morning from my shed. It's my little studio at the end of my garden, which I'm very lucky to have to do bits of artwork and have a bit of quiet time. So I'm doing it from here for two reasons today. The first one, I guess, really is that I know there are a lot of people at the moment who they don't have a garden or a shed. They are in their house or in their flat, and that's all they've got. So for those people, I would like to try and offer some suggestions of how you might be able to do nature connection through the window from indoors. And secondly, it's actually proving really difficult to find a really quiet spot where I feel comfortable sort of talking to myself or talking to my phone in the woods, particularly over the weekend. There's a lot more people going out walking just from their house out onto the footpaths at the end of the streets around here, which is great, but I just feel a bit self-conscious, so I'm going to try and find a quieter time of day, but for now we're in the shed. And the thing I wanted to talk about, I've been thinking a lot this weekend about touch and about how wonderful it is to be able to experience the touch, the human touch of someone that you care for or that cares for you. It feels good. And I've been thinking about people who are in hospital, who are being treated by staff in the hospital wearing plastic gloves, plastic visors, with the best will in the world, that there isn't skin to skin contact, and wondering what impacts that's having. And that set me to doing a bit of research and reading about touch. So I've got it's got like the longest entry ever in the dictionary, so I want to tell you some of the things that I found there because I thought it was really interesting. So there's obviously the physical touch that I've just mentioned, and I found something really interesting on the BBC website. They're doing a survey and a study about touch at the moment, and they reckon that 83% of the time a person can recognise the emotion that's being communicated by a stranger through touch. I thought that was quite amazing. Presumably they cover their faces, so just through the touch people can tell whether someone's communicating anger or disgust or love, sympathy, those sorts of things. It's amazing. So that's to do with physical touch. There's obviously the idea of being emotionally touched, feeling moved, sympathy, empathy, those sorts of things. There's the idea of being as good as, so no one can touch her ability to make flapjack or I don't know, whatever. Touch a small amount, so just a touch of milk in my tea, which incidentally is how I like my tea. A detail that makes something better, a finishing touch or a touch of genius. A quick light movement, so she, I don't know, barely touched the light switch, maybe. Keep in touch. I think this is a really important one for a lot of us at the moment, the idea of keeping in touch with each other, and losing touch. Even the fact that's the word that we use to describe that sense of having meaningful contact with people. Ability, a deft touch or a sureness of touch. It's a term used a lot in football, but I'm not actually going to try and define that because I don't know much about football and I'll get it wrong. Knowledge that's out of date, so he's not in touch with pop music anymore or something like that. And also using the word touch in relation to skill, so she's losing her touch. So really interesting, the different ways that we use that word. It's also apparently the first sense we develop in the womb. It's like a fundamental thing to human life. And the other thing, I was reading some thoughts by Jon Kabat-Zinn, who's like the king of mindfulness. Don't need to talk about that much. So he talked about touch as being reciprocal. So you can't touch something without being touched, which is a really lovely thought to me. So I guess the thing that seems most relevant at the moment in relation to all this is how can we stay in touch with ourselves and our world and each other. It's really easy to feel that we've really lost touch with reality. Things are really surreal. If we're in an international crisis, it's, you know, things don't feel quite real. It's easy to start having a sense of losing touch with yourself. So the thing that I'm going to think about today while I'm looking out of the window, taking in nature, is to do with the fact that everything you can touch with your senses in this place, in this moment, is real. So it really helps anchor you, keep you in touch amidst all this fear and grief and sadness, that any time you can contact what is real, what is actually here now. So we can actively do this. This is a kind of ability, a skill that we can develop to become really sensitive and present to all the things that we've stopped noticing. And we can start by bringing ourselves back in touch with the life that is right here. So I'm going to move you now and put you so you can see out of the window. Okay, so we'll just bear with me. It might make you feel a bit seasick while we just spin you around. Oops. Okay, so hopefully now you can see you're looking out of my shed door into my garden. And I'm just going to sit down on this beanbag behind you so I can see the same view. This is somewhere I sit really often, all times of day and night, all through the year. And so we're just going to have a go at sort of allowing ourselves to touch the world with our senses and notice that we're being touched by it, that we are connected and we are part of a bigger world than this room, this box that we're existing in at the moment. So to begin with, I'm just noticing the sensations of sitting on this beanbag. You might want to do the same thing. Just notice how it feels to be sitting, standing, wherever you are now. Notice all the parts of the body that are making contact with the floor. Feeling yourself held, supported by gravity, pulling you down towards the earth. And then just inviting those 3 deeper breaths. Noticing where the air sucks down into your body. Can you draw the air down into a softening belly? And really enjoying the sense of letting go and releasing as you breathe out. So focusing the attention right in now on the sensation of air entering and leaving the body in this moment. Noticing where your attention is, and then choosing to place your attention on something that you can see through the window. So for me, I'm really captivated this morning by the different colours in the clouds, inky dark, smudgy greys, little pockets of vivid blue. Highlights of shining white light, slowly changing, drifting. I'm here from within the shed. I can just hear the noise of sparrows chirping outside, creaks of the shed as the sun starts to reach it and warm up corners of it. I'm really aware of the fact that I can see things stirring in the wind. And also noticing that the air is completely still within the shed. And choosing when to really allow myself to get really drawn into the details and focus on one thing that I can see, perhaps the edge of the table highlighted in the sunlight. Really becoming curious and interested in this one tiny detail within the garden. Starting to see all the really subtle, nuanced differences of light and shade. As the table edge curves round. Changing as the sunlight comes and goes. And then noticing my attention's been drawn now to that vivid, acid, yellowy green tree waving in the neighbour's garden. I don't know what that tree is. It's got these beautiful spirally, corkscrewy branches. Maybe it's some kind of corkscrew willow or something, I don't know. I love it though. I'm very glad that they have that tree there. So moving between these very focused, detailed observations and then relaxing that concentration and opening out into a really soft gaze, open awareness of all the colours, shapes, textures, movement. How far is it possible to open up this wide, gazy vision? Can you become aware of the periphery of your vision, where there's a slight awareness of the shapes that are there without the detail? Noticing when your attention's wandered off and is no longer focused on the view from the window, and just very gently, with great kindness, choosing where to place your awareness. when we're open to ourselves, we really see what's before us. We really make contact with the reality that's here right now. It changes our everyday reality. So just keep checking in with the different senses, things you can see through the window. Lightly touching things with your eyes. Perhaps noticing any smells. The touch of your skin on your clothing. Sounds around you appearing and disappearing. Neighbours talking in the garden next door, just coming through now. An aeroplane. Maybe it's even possible to open to moments of joy, noticing any sensations of opening, relaxing, comfort. As we observe the life that is right here. And I'm just going to leave you now with a favourite quote of mine from Rumi. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there.